Let's get ready for Monday Mortgage Minute with your hosts, Tom McNamara and Bruce Woodburn.
Hey, good morning,
Good morning,
brother.
Bruce. How are we
How are
doing
ya?
today? Man,
Good,
I'm
good,
unbelievable.
man.
Having a really good day today so far, man. So we got some news, right? We got a little bit of news.
Yeah,
The market has really been good as far as like
yeah, the
home sales
market has
go.
improved quite considerably.
It has, and I went through all this year thinking that we were having an off year. I mean, my year's been pretty good, but I was thinking we had an off year price wise, and now I'm looking back at some numbers and I'm realizing that we had a great year. I don't know if you realized.
We had a better than average year when it comes to appreciation in houses. So the
Hey,
mortgage industry has been down like 40 to 60% because of the refis dropping off.
right.
And people are a little bit more reluctant to get into the market with the higher interest rates. But when it comes to, you and I are advocates for homeownership,
Absolutely.
right? We are totally into it. Is the best and easiest way to amass wealth, and you don't even need to try. You just need to own a home. That's all you got to do.
You
And
got to
so,
do that major first step.
yep. So the first step is just get into the game. But it's
Yep.
interesting because, I was looking at some local markets here, and, this goes out all over the country, but we're a Florida market. So it was interesting to see exactly what kind of appreciation or depreciation have we been seeing
Mhm.
in some of the more popular areas throughout Central Florida. And we can't do them all, but we could do like middle America, Florida. So we just took, like, say, Seminole County. That's an average county, right? It's not
Yeah, so I've got
exceptional.
Seminole County up right here. Let's take a look at Seminole County real quick.
Okay. So what kind of from
So now,
November to November we started, and let's just look at single family homes here. Let's not look at,
yeah, this is
condos and super jumbo mansions. Let's just look at
right.
our single family homes.
Yeah, this is single family. So October 2022, right? This only goes through October of this year. So I'm going to look back a year. In October of 22, we were at 420 was our median price, right? For
Okay.
that month.
420. All right.
420,000. Now the next month we went up to 430. That's a pretty big increase in 1 month, right?
1 month, it's huge, 10 grand.
Yeah, and then I'm sure somebody bought a house in November of 22, 22, and then they look in December and January and they see the median
Oh,
home
that
price
poor
already
sucker
down,
that bought that house. Oh
right?
my
The
God.
poor
Look
guy's
at
looking at it going, man, I just made the worst decision
his
ever.
wife
I shouldn't
is
have bought a
screaming
house.
at him.
The wife's mad, right? Yeah. So, but you know what? Fast forward, man, a year later, right? We're at 455. So you bought a house for 420, probably only put down 15, 20 grand,
Yep.
maybe,
The
right?
average
On
person's
average.
putting down 5 to 10%.
Yeah, right. So you're putting down, let's call it 20 grand, and you made $35,000
In 1 year. In
in
one
one
year.
year, right?
In 1 year.
So,
You had it, you
you know,
had it, you made more money than you actually put into the home. And you got to
correct.
remember, your down payment on a home is an investment. You're not spending the money. You're just parking it in a different bank, an equity bank. So,
Absolutely.
it goes to show. Now, the only one that would have lost is if somebody bought and was trying to be a flipper that's not a good one, and bought and had to sell right away, right? And it was only during that time frame. And that's why, investors like you're an investor, so
Mhm.
you buy distressed properties or people that need to fire sale a property for any particular personal reason. So those would be the ones that might get themselves in trouble if they didn't buy right?
That's right. So, when I buy properties to flip, we have some pretty tight rules that we use. We basically pay 70% of what it will be worth, right? When it's fixed, minus
Right,
whatever it costs to repair, right? So
right.
if you take a $400,000 house, right, I'm not going to pay any more than 290 for it, minus whatever I think the repairs are going to be. So it's probably going to be 230, 250, somewhere in that range, right? And that leaves me with enough spread to pay, the interest, because even though I'm a cash buyer, I'm borrowing the money from somebody,
The
usually at
money,
10%.
the money, you're losing money that would have been invested otherwise.
I'm paying for insurance. I'm paying for taxes, I'm paying for, labor, all those things, right? And I'm taking a risk. What if the market does drop and I have to sell it?
Yeah.
So
Well, let's get back to where the average person, because you and I are advocates for home ownership. So
absolutely.
you were considering buying a home and you bought it at 420. It's now worth 455. You made a ton of money in 1 year in a market where I would bet you at least 50% of the population, and I could be wrong, I don't have that number, was thinking that we were going to have a crash, that real estate was just going to dive. And I'm going to wait for the market to completely fall apart. I actually think if we had a gain of that was almost 6% gain. The average year on a normal market throughout the United States is about 3 to 4%.
Yeah,
So
3 to
we were
4%.
way higher in appreciation than the average appreciation. Now, here's the thing I'm predicting. So it wouldn't take much if interest rates drop for those values just to go through the roof. Because if we're already seeing 6% when people thought the market was flat, what are we going to see when rates drop to 5.5%? You're going to see a surge in
Right.
value because we still don't have any inventory.
Nope, not enough. And a lot of people are still sitting on those 2-3% rates, and they're just not going to sell unless they absolutely have to. So
here's what I suggest you do.
Well, so of all the
if
properties,
you have a 2.5 or 3% fixed rate. Yeah,
right,
I'm sorry, buddy. I didn't mean to talk over you. Go for it.
Okay. Go ahead, man.
So if you have a 2.5 or 3.5% fixed rate, even 4.5% fixed rate on your current home, keep that home. Use it as a rental property. Don't sell it. Just go buy another one right now, and then we'll refinance it when rates drop to 5.25. They're going to drop to 5.25. Speaking of, the Fed did not raise interest rates. They did not lower interest rates the other day. So, but they've announced that they're going to have potentially 3 rate reductions in 2024. I don't think that's going to be in the first quarter. I think we got to get through the holidays, see what the economy did, what consumer spending looks like, and then we could potentially see some rate reductions. If consumer spending is high during the holidays, it's going to push that off even further.
Absolutely. And I don't think even if they do lower rates, I don't think they're going to be big drops. I mean, you're going to see quarter point, maybe 1/8 of a point.
I agree.
I don't know if we ever do 1/8 of a point, but I mean, they're not going to be dropping it. They're not going to go down as fast as they went up last year.
Yeah. Well, that was a knee-jerk reaction. The Fed didn't have a clue as to what they were going to do, and they're getting pressure from central banks of Europe, and they just had to follow suit. But now I think reality, we got inflation down to 3.2%. Their target's 2%. I think if we just have if consumer spending is light over the holidays, it's going to drop that down. It really is.
Tell you what, man, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do my part. I'm going to tell my wife to not spend so much for Christmas.
Well, we've already made a family agreement that we're not going to do it. We are just not going to do it this year. Even though, business hasn't been horrible, it's just not I know when I need to cut back. And I think most Americans need to realize now is the time to cut back. The grandkids and the kids, they don't need expensive things. They're going to grab a pot and pan and bang around the house with it anyway. So why do you need to spend all this money on things that make you feel better, but they don't make the kid feel any better at all? Right?
No.
Do something for people that's going to be impactful. And that usually comes from your heart.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're actually foregoing a lot of gift giving, and we're taking one small trip. So how about you?
Good for you. Good for you.
Taking any
well,
trips
listen,
for Christmas?
One other thing I wanted to talk about, that I was reading an article that our Congress is trying to pass a bill that would preclude hedge funds from buying single family homes, because the average first time home buyer can't compete with the cash buyer from these $1 billion hedge funds. So it's an interesting problem that we have. So you and I were in the business back during the mortgage crash back in 2007 and 8 and 9. And who bailed us out? Who were the only ones buying properties from 2008 to 2013?
if I remember right, it was the government actually begged them to come in and buy all these bad loans, foreclosures, foreclosed properties, right, just to prop up the market a little bit and stop it from completely imploding.
So what do you think happened when they did that?
Well, then so they come along and they go, wow, this is a great asset, right? They bought them for 25, 50, 100 grand. They're doubling in price over a few years. Let's go buy more.
Right. So now
Right?
we created a monster.
Around.
We needed that. We needed that handout, and it wasn't even something they were even doing in the past. And now they're like, "Wow, this housing thing, we can control the rental market. We can control the values, and between their rental market and owning so many properties, they can really shift the market in any direction they want to." So now the federal government's going, whoa, we created a monster over here. Now let's tell them they can't buy any single family residences anymore.
It's a typical thing, man. It's a government solution to a government problem caused by the government, from a government solution to a different problem that they already caused themselves. I mean, how many times are we going to go through the same stuff?
I couldn't have said that better.
They just keep creating new problems and solving them with new problems. So I don't know what's next.
Hey, listen, I got to run, man. I just wanted to tell you we got one more show before Christmas, and we can't wait to have you guys join us again. So got to cut you loose, brother.
All right, man. You have a great day.
Yeah, you too.